Hello, everyone. My name is Derek from Bourbon Table, and today we have a relatively new release. I just got this less than a week ago, just saw it on the shelf and picked it up. Old Overholt 11 year. I have a couple of old Overholts, and I really enjoy them. It's a rye whiskey, and I wanted to see how this one is. Just reading the label here, folks, this one was barreled in autumn of 2012, and it was pulled out of the barrel in 23 and put into a bottle. Last year they came out with an Old Overholt 10 year, which was pretty spicy, and folks really enjoyed it. It was a higher proof. This one is 107.4, 53.7% alcohol, 11 years old, and it's a cask strength, which means it is the same proof now as when it originally went into the cask. Old Overholt was originally from Pennsylvania. It's now bottled in Kentucky by Jim Beam, which is owned by Suntory. And this is a limited release. Given the other offerings that Old Overholt has, I'd like to see a 12 next year. But before we go there, let's taste this and see what it actually tastes like. I poured this about 15-20 minutes ago. Give it an opportunity to breathe. It's a fresh crack. This is my first taste. I haven't had it before. Let's start it off with the smell. So I did smell it right after I poured it, and all I got was ethanol and oak. Now I'm getting less ethanol, I'm getting oak, and I'm getting something sweet. I'm getting, man, that's a little bit of caramel and black pepper. All right, let's see what it tastes like. That's nice. My initial reactions are, tastes really nice. It tastes, actually, the smell and the taste is very mature. I know you're going to say, duh, it's 11 years old, of course it's mature. But I want to say that because sometimes in an older bourbon, an older whiskey, you don't get that. Particularly in bourbon, 11 years is a good age. Anything 8 and over is really good. Anything 10 and over is better. You get to 11 to 12. My opinion, 12 is the sweet spot for most bourbons. Some stuff gets better older than that. Sometimes when you get older than the 12, you start to see the flavor kind of pull back and get really oaky. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. In this case, 11 is a good year. Given the flavor, I am hoping there's a 12. So let's get specific. So a moderate mouthfeel. Again, a little sweetness on the opening taste. Oak comes through mid-palate and on the finish. Okay. Now I'm getting that rye spice. It's still there. It's still there. Still there. So the finish is long. Not unusual for a bourbon or a whiskey that's older. The rye spice is still there. So it's heavy rye spice, mid-palate, and certainly on the finish. Getting a nice little Kentucky hug in there. Not bad, not overdone at all. All right, so the sweetness is a little bit on the initial, mostly on the mid palate, and then it transitions into the rye spice. I get a little bit of leather, tobacco, not a ton of sweetness. It is in there, and while my palate, I prefer it leaning sweet. I really like this. Um, as a rye whiskey, you can get some that are sweet. Mostly you're going to get spice. This is not overdone. It's really a nice level of sweetness, nice level of oak. I recommend this. I got this. It was $99. I've seen it where it's upwards of $130, and it's hard to find. So I would say if you like rye whiskey, this is a quintessential rye profile done really, really well and not overpowering it anywhere. Sometimes you can get a rye that's really spicy, and that's great for people who are who prefer the rye. Being someone who prefers bourbon, who also enjoys rye, this to me is a great balance of rye spice without going overboard, and it's got a hint of sweetness. And I think the longer this stays open, I'm just smelling. I'm getting a little bit more sweetness. Again, this is never going to be heavy sweet, but I think if we I don't know, but I think if we let it sit for a while and come back to it now that it's opened, we may get a little bit more sweetness. But even if we don't, this is really a great offering. I think the price is right. I think this is something special to have on your shelf. All the Overholt stuff has been done really well. The A Overholt, the Overholt Bottle and Bond, the Overholt 114, the regular Overholt product. If you like rye, you're going to have an Overholt on your shelf of some kind. And if you got a couple extra dollars, I highly recommend this if you can get your hands on it. That's what I got for Old Overholt 11 year. Tune in. My next video is going to be a special limited. If you don't have this next one I'm going to do, you're not going to be able to get it. It was a limited release from SLB, who is another YouTuber. They did a barrel pick. I haven't tried it yet. You'll tune in for that video. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you thumbs up, and leave me some interesting comments or some questions about rye whiskey. Thank you so much. See you on the next one.